Portugal coach Simon Mannix. Captain will join us shortly. Everyone has their devices ready, we can start. Thanks. Anami, and then Ken.
Hello Simon. You said on the field that you're taking a lot of lessons from this game. Tell us what it is, and congratulations with your team's performance tonight.
Yeah, firstly, thank you very much for the congratulations. The lessons are enormous. We got monstered in a lot of areas of the game tonight, and the physicality was something else that the players, and talking to guys who played in the World Cup, they said they felt tonight was even 2-3 levels higher than what they had experienced at 2023. So there's an awful lot to be learned for us. We came with very much like the South African team tonight, we're not naive. We know that was a B team that was out tonight, yet a B team who I thought played some really good rugby at times, great athletes. But we got beaten up at the breakdown, we got beaten up in quite a few areas of the game, yet we showed a lot of courage. And we've got guys who've been playing in the 4th and 5th division in France, and to see them exposed in front of an incredible crowd, an incredible atmosphere, I couldn't be more proud of this team tonight and what they've done. And given where we were, because this is pretty much a pre-season tour for us, physically we're not in the greatest shape that we could be to play this game. And because the guys in the Northern Hemisphere are about to kick off their season, sort of August, September. But a lot of lessons, and we will learn and we will get better. But I was just so proud of the way that we tried to play rugby. I thought the first 10 minutes we showed our ability to get the ball to width, to move it around. And when we do that, you guys have all seen Portugal play rugby at the World Cup. That was a real pleasure, and I'm going to reflect a lot on the positives, because this is game number 2 for me. I said to players, this trip was about discovery, about us learning about each other, seeing what we could do, and tonight we're up against the world champions, and what a privilege to be here. So all in all, incredible experience. And I've just got to say, hats off to the South African staff and their team for the way that they've looked after us post-game. That adds to the experience, and thank goodness that still exists in rugby.
Ken?
Simon, I was going to ask, whatever the result, at least you had those first 10 minutes where, frankly, you were the better team on the field. That you and the team can always remember those 10 bad minutes.
I appreciate that, and I hope the players will remember that, because this was a historical event for us, and as well for South Africa. And as the 15th ranked team in the world, coming to the number 1 ranked team in the world, for 10 minutes our guys showed, we want to play, we're going to try and get the ball to space, here's what we can do. And we had the try ruled out, and the score would have come back to 22-14 with about 15 minutes to go to half-time. And even then, there were never any illusions in the coaching box that we're going to do something special, but we could have stayed in the game a little bit longer. But physically, just so tough for our men tonight. But they hung in strong. But we're going to get better, and that's the promise that we have for everybody back in Portugal, that we will get better, and we'll work harder, and we'll come back stronger.
Percy?
Sorry, Captain, we spoke to some of your fans before the match, and they said if you guys can just score one try, they would be so excited. You guys gave South Africa a good account of yourself. How do you feel as the captain of the side?
Of course, we feel really proud on what we achieved in some spaced moments. Of course, I think we had the first minutes were really good for us. We scored. We were the first to score. All of a sudden, it's really special for us as Portugal team to be winning against South Africa. It's a pretty special moment. Of course, we were not favorites, but still, we talk amongst the team, and we said this is our big test. Our focus is on 2027, on the World Cup in Australia, this is the launch point where you have to go from. We know that as a test, this is the standard that we set, and then we know the things that we're doing right, the things that we're doing wrong, and where do we have to work on from this. But facing double-time world champs is a really special moment for us, and we have to keep on working.
Can you just say something about your attack? At some stages, you guys made us sit up straight. How you guys were attacking South Africa, especially in the back line?
Well, I think a lot of that's down to our captain, and that's been a lot of great work being done previously by the previous coaching group, and we'll look back. This is my second game with the team, and I'm not going to take any credit for what these guys can do. Certainly, we can play. We really can play, and we exposed South Africa on set piece when they were at 15, which wasn't for a long time. But we exposed them on the outside, and I was just so delighted. And I think rugby watchers worldwide would be so happy to see that as well, that Portugal are continuing on in the vein that made them one of the most popular teams at the World Cup. Yet that page is finished. We've got to start again. We've got to get better. And Thomas has spoken about us looking at World Cup 2027. I'll bring it right back and say we've got to look at qualification. We've got to look at the work of a Tier 2 nation, and we've got to get better. And we saw, you guys probably all saw Georgia, how strong they were this morning against Australia. But we're going to take a lot out of this, and I've already said it just before, but I promise you we're going to come back a lot stronger, and we've learned so much from this trip about ourselves.
Brenda?
Simon, there's a lot of talk about a test championship, test league in Portugal, which obviously fall outside the top 10 nations that have been talked about in this. How difficult is that for you guys to hear this news, and for the future of not just Portugal, but all the Tier 2 nations that obviously are striving to become better adults?
I don't think to look at it, negatively. There's a huge gulf. We know that. I've got, as I said, I've got guys. I had one player tonight who's playing in the 5th division in France. Now, 5th division in France equals probably teams numbered between, if I just do my sums really quickly, probably about 80 to 100 clubs in France, and he's playing in there. And here he is tonight, running out in Bloemfontein as a starter against South Africa. So that's the reality of our rugby. Our rugby is, we're not full-time pros. We don't have that luxury. But what we do have is we have an incredible spirit, and we have guys who train exceedingly hard. And I'll throw it back to the old days. When I played rugby, pre-professionalism. It's just that. And I have got guys who are amateurs, who are students, who are professionals, and yet they're still finding the time to put the work in to compete out there tonight. And I think probably my captain's probably one of the best examples in the team of that. And that's what we're going to do. That is our reality. And we're just going to keep showing up, and we're going to fight. And we're going to... I can't speak this as a Portuguese national, obviously, with an accent like mine. But I have learned so much about this group, and I can tell you what, it's after so many years coaching and playing in Europe and things like that, incredible group, really is. And just, I just ask you, keep an eye on them for the future. They're going to be, they'll keep doing some amazing stuff, and you guys will go, wow, for a team that's, for a federation that's semi-pro and not even, incredible people. And as a coach, I couldn't ask any more.
The back there.
Simon, Andre Esterhuizen's early red card, did that affect your game plan in any way? And still on that note, do you feel that Portugal could have capitalized on that numerical difference?
South Africa are a really strong team across the board. And my thoughts are just with Jose Lima, who's still in hospital tonight. These are unfortunate things in rugby, head-on-head clashes, and we know, and I really felt for the player who got the red card. It was an unfortunate incident for everybody involved. Our thoughts are though, firmly with Jose tonight, And he's, we haven't had an update recently, but fingers crossed that everything's, and prayers are with him that everything's going to be okay. As to the impact on the game, no, I don't think, I don't want to, there's no point me diving into the ifs and whats. There's a lot of stuff that could have happened, didn't happen, whatever else. I just maintain my position. So proud of the team tonight. And, it was a pretty hostile environment and they did so well.
Katie?
Coach, what does a game like this do for someone like Jose Paiva dos Santos, who, when he came on, looks the part of a test match player in every game?
He looked the part of a test match player last week as well. Jose's a great kid. I'm getting to know him. He started last week in Namibia. Tonight he was on the bench, came on, took his opportunity, and I thought he was going to go in for a hat-trick, and I thought, how many players have scored a hat-trick against South Africa in their career? And I was so hoping that he would do that, go into the record book somewhere. But I thought there are a lot of guys who carried themselves extremely well, and it's easy to point to the back line with it, because there's a lot of talent in there. I thought they were great. I'm just delighted with everybody, and I think maybe Thomas could give you a little bit more insight into that than me, possibly.
No, I think of course, Jose made an incredible game, but we have to have a look at our forwards. I think we first started in the scrum, and we're really one of our biggest. We were a bit afraid of how our scrum is going to be against the Springboks. Again, the best team in the world, and with such a massive and strong scrum. But we did really well, and we are really proud of Of course, the Portuguese DNA is around the backs and about playing with speed. But tonight we are really proud of our forwards.
Is it two more, Johan, and then Percy, and then we can wrap? Thanks.
You can tell the team that New Zealand's never scored 21 points here against the Springboks. I think they're 19.
How many times have New Zealand played here? A few times. I remember as a kid watching the game here, I think on the 1976 tour against Free State as a 4-year-old. Because the first time I'd seen a brown field, it was green tonight. Unbelievable.
Okay, final question, Percy. Thanks.
So Skip, I just wanted to ask you, what do you say to your passionate fans who came up with the numbers here today to come and support you guys today?
I think it was from the first moment, the moment we arrived in Bloemfontein, the moment we got into the airport, it was an insane moment for us. I'm just getting back to on Sunday we arrived at the airport. Everyone started to sing the national anthem, and that was so special for us. And coming here in 42,000 seat stadium and seeing so many Portuguese fans, such a big Portuguese community, makes us really proud and sometimes makes us a bit disappointed not to perform in front of so many Portuguese fans. We are really proud, and heads up to them. They were fantastic tonight.
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone. Zina's going to bring in a couple of